Florentine Theatre presents William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Act 1, Scene 1. We open on a beautiful Italian villa on a beautiful summer's day. Leonato is enjoying a picnic with his daughter Hero and his niece Beatrice. A messenger approaches and hands Leonato a scroll. Leonato reads, and his face brightens.
I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very near by this. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
But few of any sort, none of name.
A victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honour on a young Florentine named Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath borne himself beyond the promise of his age, doing, in the figure of a lamb, the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectation than you must expect of me to tell you how.
He hath an uncle here in Messina who will be very much glad of it.
I have already delivered him letters, and there appears much joy in him. Even so much joy could not show itself modest enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out into tears?
In great measure.
A overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those that are so washed. How much better it is to weep at joy than to joy at weeping.
Beatrice steps forward and takes the letter from Leonato.
I pray you, is Signor Montaigne returned from the wars or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There was none such in the army of any sort.
What is he that you ask for, niece?
Hero steps forward, giving her cousin a grin.
My cousin means Signor Benedick of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and as pleasant as ever he was.
He set up his bills here in Messina and challenged Cupid at the flight, and my uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird bolt. I pray you, how many hath he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many hath he killed? For, indeed, I promise to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedick too much, but he'll meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
You had a musty victual, and he hath hopped to eat it. He is a very valiant trencherman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady. But what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honourable virtues.
It is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man. But for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There is a kind of merry war betwixt Signor Benedick and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with 1. So that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it for a difference between himself and his horse, for it is all wealth that he hath left, to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is it possible?
Very easily possible. He wears his faith but as a fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next block.
I see, lady. The gentleman is not in your books.
No, and he were, I would say, burn my study. But I pray you, who is his companion? Is there no young squire now that will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. God help the noble Claudio. If he had caught the Benedick, it will cost him £1,000 ere be cured.
I will old friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
Not till a hot January.
Don Pedro has approached.
Don Pedro, Don John, Claudio, Benedict, and Balthazar enter the villa. Leonato and his household meet them. Don Pedro and Leonato greet each other warmly.
Good Signor Leonato, you have come to meet your trouble. The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and do encounter it.
Never came trouble to my house in the likeness of your grace. For trouble being gone, comfort should remain. But when you depart from me, sorrow abides, and happiness takes his leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Were you in doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no, for then you were a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man, truly the lady's father herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
Hero smiles and blushes at the praise. At the same time, she meets eyes with the young, handsome Count Claudio. Sparks fly.
If Signor Leonato be her father, she would not have his head on her shoulders for Almacina, as like him as she is.
Beatrice presents herself in front of Benedict.
I wonder that you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
Upon seeing Beatrice, Benedict forces himself to smile politely.
What, my dear lady, disdain! Are you yet living?
Is it possible Disdain should die while she hath such meet food to feed it as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain, if you come in her presence.
There is courtesy a turncoat. But it is certain I am loved of all ladies, only you excepted, and I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would else have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God at my cold blood I am of your humor for that. I had rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God keep your ladyship still in that mind. So some gentleman or other shall scape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching could not make it worse. 'Twere such a face as yours were.
Well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I would my horse had the speed of your tongue, and so good a continuer. But keep your way. By God's name, I have done.
Benedict turns away from Beatrice and waves his hand dismissively. She scowls at him.
You always end with a jade's trick. I know you of old.
Don Pedro addresses the crowd.
That is the sum of it all, Leonato. Signor Claudio, Signor Benedict, and such friends Leonato hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at least a month, and he heartily prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn.
Leonato turns to Don John, a dark, sullen man.
Let me bid you welcome, my lord. Being reconciled to the prince, your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I am not of many words, but I thank you.
Please it your grace, lead on.
Your hand, Leonato. We will go together.
All exit save Benedict and Claudio, who watch his hero walk away. She turns as she leaves, and their eyes meet again. Claudio turns to Benedict.
Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she not a modest young lady?
Do you question me, as an honest man should do, for my simple true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom, as being a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee speak in sober judgment.
Why, faith, methinks she's too low for a high praise, too brown for a fair praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome. Being no other but as she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sport. I pray thee tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her, that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yea, and a case to put it into. But Speak you this with a sad brow, or do you play the flaunting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair-finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall a man take you to go in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles. I can see no such matter.
The two men see Hero and Beatrice walking through the vineyard below, laughing.
There's her cousin, and she, were not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
It's come to this. In faith, hath not the world one man, but he will wear his cap with suspicion. Shall I never see a bachelor of threescore again? Go to. No, I faith. And thou wilt need thrust my neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro has returned to seek you.
Don Pedro enters.
What secret hath held you here that you followed not to Leonato's?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell.
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You hear, Count Claudio, I can be secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so, but on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? Now that is your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If this were so, so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord. It's not so, nor 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid it, should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my 2 faiths and troths, my lord, I speak mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
That I neither feel how she should be loved, nor know how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast ever the obstinate heretic in despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I will have a retreat winded in my forehead, or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me, because I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for the which I may go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee, ere I die, look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I will get again with drinking. Pick out mine eyes with a ballad-maker's pen and hang me up at the door of a brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou will prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And he that hits me, let him be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Well, as time shall try, in time the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
The savage bull may. But if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them in my forehead, and let me be vilely painted in such great letters as they write, Here is good horse to hire. Let them signify under my sign, Here you may see Benedict the married man.
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid had not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou would quake for this shortly.
Oh, I look for an earthquake too, then.
Well, you temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonato's. Commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made great preparations.
I have almost matter enough in me for such an embassage. And so I commit you.
To the tuition of God, from my house, if I had it.
The 6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock not, mock not. The body of your discourse is sometimes guarded with fragments, and the guards are but slightly basted on neither, ere you flout old ends and further examine your conscience. And so, I leave you.
Benedict exits. Don Pedro and Claudio walk amongst the gardens of Leonato's villa.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Hath Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord, when you went onward on this ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye, that liked, but had a rougher task in hand, than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant, and their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young Hero is, saying, I liked her ere I went to wars.
Don Pedro smiles at his young friend.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hero with the book of words. If thou dost love fair Hero, cherish it, and I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. Was it not to this end that thou'st begin to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly you do minister to love, that no loves grief by his complexion. But lest my liking might too sudden seem, I would have salved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge the broader than the flood? The fairest grant is the necessity. Look, what will serve as fit? 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have revelling tonight. I will assume thy part in disguise, and tell fair Hero I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force, and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
Both men exit. Act 1, Scene 2. Leonato and his brother Antonio meet in the vineyard.
How now, brother? Where is my cousin, your son? Hath he provided this music?
He is very busy about it. But, brother, I can tell you strange news that you yet dreamt not of.
Are they good?
As the event stamps them, but they have a good cover, they show well outward. The prince and Count Claudio, walking in a thick pleached alley in mine orchard, were thus much overheard by a man of mine. The prince discovered to Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to acknowledge it this night in a dance. And if he found her accordant, he meant to take the present time by the top and instantly break with you of it.
Hath the fellow any wit that told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send for him and question him yourself.
No, we will hold it as a dream till it appear itself. But I will acquaint my daughter with all, that she may be the better prepared for an answer, if peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her of it.
Several attendants enter.
Cousins, you know what you have to do. Oh, I cry you mercy, my friend. Go you with me, and I will use your skill. Good cousin, have a care this busy time.
All exit. Act 1, Scene 3. Conrad opens the door to Don John's guest quarters. Don John stands sulking next to the fire.
What the good year, my lord? Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure to the occasion that breeds, and therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when I have heard it, what blessings bring it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou say thou art, born under Saturn, goes about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause and smile at no man's jest. Eat when I have stomach and wait for no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy and tend to no man's business. Laugh when I am merry and claw no man in his humour.
Yeah, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he has ta'en you nearly as into his grace, where it is impossible you should take true root, but by the fair weather that you make yourself. It is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. In this, though I cannot be said to be a flattering honest man, it must not be denied but I am a plain-dealing villain. I am trusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a clog. Therefore, I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
Well, I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here?
Borachio enters.
What news, Borachio?
I came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve for any model to build mischief on? What is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Marry, it is your brother's right hand.
Who? The most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
A proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Mary, on Hero, the daughter and heir of Leonato.
A very forward march chick. How came you to this?
Being entertained for a perfumer, as I was smoking a musty room, comes me, the prince, and Claudio, hand in hand, in sad conference. I whipped me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him anyway, I bless myself every way. You are both sure and will assist me?
To the death, my lord.
Let us to the great supper. Their cheer is the greater that I am subdued. Would the cook were of my mind. Shall we go prove what's to be done?
We'll wait upon your lordship.
All exit. End of Act 1.